Hi everyone, it's Hitanjani from Bindaas Bollywood. We've got Dr. Chris Badra here today, as you've seen on the screen, and some of the family members are with us, so we're very happy to see them as well. Thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time out, especially on an evening, and it's a working day as well. But everyone loves you guys. Like Ananda Group has gone just to monumental levels because I think everyone's so familiar with you as a person and your dancing as well. But I think I first met you a few years ago because you guys performed at our event, and now you're performing all throughout the country globally as well. So but just tell us a little bit about yourself and your dance journey and artistic journey as well.
Thank you, Tanjani. First of all, namaste and a very good day to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to you for having me here. That's I think I'm honored to say the least, if not anything else. My dance journey on a personal level, it started at a very, very young age. I think some of that credit goes to my mom and my aunt. They used to see me dancing very intently on a track. My aunt is also a trained dancer. So whenever she used to have those events, I used to be along, used to kind of just, see her in awe, and I used to just copy everything she's doing. So my mom got that in that, okay, this girl probably has that fiber of dance in her blood. And then in year 4, she gets me officially enrolled in the Indian contemporary classes. I've got the tutelage of Mrs. Tanushree Shankar. She comes from the same Shankar family from where we have Anushka Shankar and late Ravi Shankar as well. Yeah. So my professional journey started from year 4 in school, went on for 6-7 years, and after that, I've just been there. I've just been dancing, trying to satisfy the audience who've given us so much love, so much honor, so to say.
Oh no, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear that you had such an amazing experience, and the gurus as well. What an honor to learn from such people. Honestly, I think it's only things most dancers can dream of. So you're very, very lucky.
I am lucky, but all the credit for that go to my family, because my family has been very culturally active. My aunt, in fact, has learned from the same family. So all of that go to my family. I would have been nothing if it's not for them.
No, I think the support of the family is so important, especially when they've been passionate in an artistic sense as well.
Exactly.
There's more understanding. No, that's great. But I was gonna say, just because our audience would have seen the Ananda group perform, tell us how that group, you formed the group, and about that journey as well.
So I'll start off with a bit of a description about the name.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have actually asked me, why have you named it Ananda? So there are 3 reasons to it. First is my teacher's late husband was Ananda Shankar, so he had the same name. My paternal granddad, my dad's late father, had the same name. And the biggest reason, I think, is I asked myself, what happens when I am on stage? So Ananda in Bengali means joy or happiness. Yeah. So that's the exact emotion I feel every time I'm performing. So all those 3 reasons came together, and I think it took me less than a second to decide the name, that, okay, this is going to be my group's name. And we started, I think Ananda was born in early 27, all thanks to you guys, because there was this day on Facebook where I saw you had the concert, the Maya concert in 2017, and you guys wanted EOIs from the groups.
Yes.
So I think I just called up Harita and Riddhi, and I asked, guys, we need to do this. Let's just together, and we need to perform, and that's how Ananda was born. So partial thanks to you.
Oh, I never knew that. No, it's nice to hear that somehow I had a connection in that too. But I mean, of course, it's all, your hard work and your groups, all the team members. You guys perform so beautifully, and I have to say, anyone who's listening who hasn't seen Chris and her troupe performing, make sure you connect, because they are mesmerizing on stage, and I think that's what people remembered from that concert every time. And they specifically remember the Ananda name as well. And they'll always ask me, is that group coming back? Because it wasn't just the way you guys performed, it was the whole concept and the different types of fusion that you added, and the little elements, even the music, everything about the performance, the costumes, the props that you used, everything. It was just so beautiful because so many people dance these days and they just dance for entertainment. But when you watch groups like you and your other performers in Ananda, you guys actually tell a story, and it's a very deep and meaningful story. It's not just a very simplistic, typical Bollywood story, boy meets girl or anything like that. There's so much depth to what you actually involve in each and every performance.
Thank you.
No, it's very, very.
I think your love and your support has been monumental. I'll be very honest with it, because not a lot of people have that flexibility of, you know, opening themselves up to a new group who hasn't performed before. People are coming together. So the love and support we have received from you over these 3-4 years has just been amazing. Like, we can miss any concert, but we never want to miss Maya out of our list. So Maya is always top.
I hope you never do. I really hope you never do. And thank you for always making the time for it. It's been really good.
We were all set with this year. Like, all the rehearsals are done, the costumes are done, but
I know. Unfortunately, like those of you that are watching, we're still in the midst of COVID-19 quarantine. And it's the same for us. We rehearsed for months and months, and everything from costumes. And you know how hard it is, like just getting people together in the first place, especially when you're working around work routine and family routines. It's difficult anyway. And that's okay. Hopefully soon. It's been postponed to next year. So I think it'll be bigger and better. And I think more full of love and more full of appreciation than usual, because I think everyone's learned to be more grateful as well because of the COVID-19 experience. So yeah, fingers crossed. Do you have any most memorable events or performances or experiences in your artistic journey?
I'm very frank and honest. As an artist, I really don't want to be biased towards XY performance and leave out Z performances because they were not memorable enough or they were not that close enough. Every platform I have been on, every stage I've been on has been very dear to my heart. Because every stage I go on, I get the same amount of love, admiration, on the platform. So I cannot be picky. So every project, whether it's a charity concert, whether it's just a paid performance, unpaid performance, everything has been very, very special.
Yeah, no, that's such a beautiful way of putting it. And I think as artists, we do remember moments of each and the whole process as well, the lead up to the event, on the day, on stage, behind the scenes, backstage, and you know, interacting with all the organizers and the tech and everything. It's such a big process. I think a lot of people don't understand when they see a final product of a performance, how much effort and communication and collaboration goes into it. Even if it's just your own group performing, the collaboration between the organizers, and it's such a big process. Do you have anything in particular that I actually wanted to tell you, like I read some of your writing as well, and I'm not sure if many people know that you write. You're such a beautiful and authentic writer. What inspires your writing? Is there anything in particular?
I was in the habit of reading and writing at a very young age. So I read up, like, and I'm a voracious reader. And there are a lot of authors that I love reading, like, but if you ask me as a writer, what inspires me when I write is life. I take a lot of ideas and inspiration from life, especially events that are happening around me. I try to put them as a third person perspective and put my narration out there. And the only belief that I have in writing a piece is that even if there's one person who's reading my article, he or she should see that conviction with which I've written it. He or she should feel the same emotion. If that's happening, I'm convinced. I'm happy as an author or a writer that I've been able to put that conviction across. I've been able to put my thoughts clearly across. So that's my motto. And I just take a lot of inspiration from life, because life is mysterious to you. It just gives you so many turns and, you know, avenues around the corner that you are never left short of ideas. Be it done or be it writing, anything. So it's just that whole space that opens up to me when I look closely around myself.
No, that's really well said. Is there anything that you're, sorry, random question, but anything particular that you're working on at the moment? or you don't want to ruin the surprise? So
no, that's all good. I just wrote one blog piece yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it. I think you were busy. If you have some time, just go through it.
yes.
It's called My Tryst, because I've been thinking about it, like the world we have been in, the times we've been in, we have seen so much of change, and nobody actually talks about life and death per se. We know death is an event and you're going to die, but what happens when you're on that journey? You know, life and death, is it a one-dimensional journey, or is it all a circular process? Nobody talks about it that openly. I tried to put across my thoughts as clearly as I could, but I've left it on my readers to have their own opinions, because it's a very open concept. But I'll suggest whenever you have some time, please read it and let me know what you think.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, we're going to put all your details below. So those of you that are listening or watching, make sure you watch and read Chris's writing and dancing as well. So because I think it's just, like I said before, there's so much depth to it as well. And I think even if you're not an artist, you'll benefit from it a lot. And I think reading something that's, I hate that it's gone out of this world so much. It's almost like it's not on the trending list, so no one bothers to read. And I love reading books, especially, and poetry. I think, and everyone's so glued to their screen. It would be nice if people take more time out to, you know, learn something and just also read other people's. You can learn so much from artists, because they say artists are sometimes the most dangerous people, because we tend to mix with every type of individuals, and you know, you can really learn a lot by reading or observing artists as well.
And I'm very old school that way. Like, I know a lot of Kindle is happening, e-books are happening these days, but I love my paperback. Like, I have a huge collection. I love paperback, and I wouldn't mind buying an expensive book or a dress or a pair of boots for that matter. So I feel that, you know, you have to get back to your roots. You have to read, you have to write. Some stuff to just vent out and express your thoughts and emotions, because the more we are getting glued to our screens, the more person is becoming cooped up in his own shell. You're not, you know, reaching out for that matter. You know what I mean? So for me, it's very important that I get back to my books. At the end of the day, I look at my blog. I just revisit my blogs very occasionally to see if I'm committing a mistake, or where do I need to, you know, fine tune my writing. Because in the end, my goal is to kind of write a book or a novel, but that's like art I have to go over. So yeah.
No, I can't wait till you do. I will definitely be the first in line to buy your books. I promise you. Yeah. No, it'll be great. Is there anything in particular as an artist that you found, like, what's been the most challenging thing in your artistic career?
If I break that question into two avenues, it's like when I was in India to when I came here. In India, there's still that culture of, you know, you have to be very focused on your education. You have to be very focused on securing this marks and that percentage, blah, blah, blah. So extracurriculars back then was still a side venture, so to say. It wasn't considered as a mainstream venture. But still, I had been able to do it. I did my part, but then, you know, year 12 happened, BTech engineering happened, that took a sideline. That was one aspect. The other aspect when I came here is, whenever I ask any random XYZ person that, what do you know about Indian dancing? They usually could come up with only two answers. Either it's Bollywood or it's classical dance forms, like so on and so forth. So for me, who's coming from a third school, that is the Indian contemporary form, it was very difficult for me to crack that space and, you know, secure a place for Indian contemporary. A lot of people still aren't aware that there's this dance form that still exists. That group, or as a founder of that group, my main motto or challenge, if you please, was to put that idea into people's heads that, okay, Indian contemporary is a dance form, which is totally different to Bollywood as well as to classical. And we improvise, we do a lot of tracks, we do a lot of instrumentals. So that whole idea was, you know, embedded in the audience was a challenge. And it still is a challenge. Like, a lot of people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They ask me, and then, but I've made it in my mind that I'm going to break that barrier one day or the other. So
no, I think it needs to be broken. I honestly think, and as someone that runs a Bollywood dance company, it's something that frustrates me a lot when people just see India as Bollywood. I mean, it's just Bollywood, and I always explain this in my workshops, especially to children. They need to understand that from a young age. Indian dancing is not Bollywood. That's not. I mean, it is an avenue in which we can teach them the culture a little bit, but it's definitely not a representation of the vast varieties of dance forms and art forms and different genres in Indian dance. There's so many, countless, that I think it just really, I think definitely please write about it if you can, because you're so beautiful with your writing. It'll be good, I think, definitely for anyone and everyone, just especially as Australia is so multicultural. People need to understand that as well, just so they're being respectful to the different cultures within India. Yeah.
On that note, there have been many times when, you know how we do our performances on tracks, and there's usually a concept behind our performances. So there was this one time when I was performing at Fed Square, and we had those blindfolds on, but it was a different track. And we had that whole story. And we come down the stage, and there's like 2 or 3 people. They're like, what was happening? We couldn't get the theory behind your performance. I was like, you should have listened, you should have seen more carefully, because this is something that you need to observe very carefully, since we don't have lyrical based performances that often. Yeah. So when it comes to an instrumental performance, your focus has to be attached to the performance. It's not a random performance that just happens and you go off the stage. So that was another challenge, where we put a concept, but a lot of audience was not able to intercept it the way we wanted them to. So we are working on them. But I hope this barrier gets broken sooner than later.
I really hope so. I think it's very important that when people observe art, any art form, that people will take the time to understand the different elements and what the artist is trying to say, as well as making their own interpretation as well. It's exactly like what you said. It's not just about the fancy entertainment doof movements. I think there's so much more beauty that goes into a lot of art forms of dance, and yeah, it would be really nice if people actually take the time to process it as well.
That's it. That's our motto as well.
I was actually going to say, you did touch on this before, but any particular individuals that have had a great impact in your life, like both personal, professional, and other artists that you admire as well?
Again, I think I'll break that in 2 parts, Hit. So if you ask me as just being Chris, who's not performing, so anybody who impacts me, anybody who has the courage to stand up for what's right and to question their rights and their duties, has an impact on me. I have huge respect for people who've been able to stand up to higher authorities and question what's going on. Yeah. So in these difficult times, we need that courage. We need not to be subjugated, and we need to stand up for what's right. Yeah. So those kind of people, those kind of personalities have a huge impact on me as a person. As an artist, first and foremost, my teacher, Mrs. Tanushree Shankar, she shaped me the way I am today. Although I'm miles away from being like her, I don't know if I'm even able to announce like her, but she was the first person. And then my family. For sure, because it is very important as a child to see what kind of activities your family is involved in. And I was very lucky that my family, both sides, maternal, paternal, they were socially and culturally very rich, and they hung on to their cultural traditions and all that stuff. So my mom's a trained singer. I told you about my aunt. So I'm very lucky to have been born in that family, and all of whatever I'm doing, my writing and my dancing, it goes back to them.
Yeah.
So as an artist, it's all to them.
Yeah.
Nothing is on.
But no, I mean, you've worked very hard as well. And, it's great, I mean, to be grateful to your gurus and your parents and your other inspirations, but you also have to work hard to get where you are as well. And it's good. Like you said it perfectly. You do need that guidance and the support network, 100%, definitely. Yeah. I was actually going to ask you, is there any particular advice that you'd like to give to aspiring dancers or even just artists in general?
Yes, I do. And the one and foremost thing that I'm going to tell them is today's world is opening up to different avenues and different opportunities. All they need to have is that conviction in their heart that they are going to do it and they're going to come out with positive results. It is going to be a very tough challenge. The road is never easy, but the road to success is never easy in any field you choose to venture in. So if you choose to be a dancer, you need to work very, very hard, and you need to have conviction and faith in your heart that you'll be able to do it. One day, the sun will be yours. The world will be a platform to you.
Oh, beautifully said. Yeah, definitely. Wow, I think you answered everything so beautifully. We've actually gone through all the questions that I had for you as well. But there is one thing I thought it's more of a fun thing just to finish off with. So I'm actually going to ask you a couple of questions. Won't take too long. So basically, it's like a 30-second word game. And you can make the answers as long as you like. Basically, it's finish the sentence. So I'll start the sentence and you finish it. So if you like, you can make it a long answer, you can think about it, or you can just give one word answer, or you can pass. No problem at all.
I'll try not to, but I'll give it my best shot.
Yes. Okay. All right. So first question. When quarantine finishes, I would like to travel to...
When quarantine finishes and when the world is in safer hands, I'd like to travel to Nice and Venice via India. That I see my family first and then take a short holiday.
Oh, wow. Have you been there before, to Nice and Venice?
I'm almost about to. So me and my very good friend, we were about to fly on the 30th of June, but then this entire situation happened and we couldn't.
Of course. Oh my gosh. I really do hope you get to go soon, especially, you know, they are beautiful places and very artistic places as well. Yeah.
Been there before?
No, I haven't. It's on the list. It's on the list. Got a long list of places, hopefully. Okay, and question number 2. If I could choose either bungee jumping or skydiving, I would do...
Can I do both?
You can, probably not at the same time, but definitely you can do both.
I would do both because those are on my list as well, and I want to try them once before I die. Okay.
Definitely. It's good you're not scared of heights then.
I am, and I'm doing them intentionally to remove my fear of heights.
Okay. Couple more questions.
Yeah.
If you could go to if you had to go to a deserted island, but there's already food there and your whole family's, everyone you love is there.
Yeah.
You get the option to take 3 things. What would it be? So apart from food, family, and friends. Yeah.
Are they materialistic things that you're referring to?
Yeah.
I would take a sunscreen because it's a desert. I need sunscreen. I would take a pile of books. And I would take, I think I would take a picture of someone I really look up to, and probably that at this point of time in this interview would be my dance teacher. So even if I'm there, I'm getting...
Oh, that's beautiful. Very nice. Okay. This one's more of a, it's meant to be fun, so not too morbid, but you can pass if you like. It's your last meal on earth. What would you have?
Oh my God.
You can pick a few different things. So you can pick a starter, different cuisine.
All right. I'll go for probably a 3 course, right? For starters, I would have some basic stuff like drumsticks or something like that. Drumsticks, all right? For me, I would really like to have some amazingly cooked Chinese fried rice. It can be chicken or lamb fried rice. And for dessert, I'll have a tiramisu ice cream.
Nice. I'm getting hungry now that I'm thinking about that.
Me too.
Okay, that's okay. You can eat soon. Very last question. So this is to do with dancing. Because I know you're trained in so many and you're such an expert in so many different styles. But if you could choose 3 dance styles that you've never really had the time to do or nurture, what would they be? And it doesn't need to be 3. You can do 1, 2, or 3.
I would really start off with salsa. That's one thing I'm dying to learn.
Yes.
Salsa, a bit of jazz, waltz and jazz, and probably some Kathak.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think you're so graceful when you dance. I just assumed that you were trained in Kathak and also Bharatanatyam and Odishi. I just assumed that because I think just your movements, it looks very professionally trained. Yeah.
For the record here, anyone who's listening, I'm not trained in these dances. Only trained in contemporary. But I think Indian contemporary that does that too, because we were taught in so many different ways that I think I've got that flexibility that I can learn anything very quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to take up that official training and tutelage from teachers.
Yeah.
But yeah, salsa and waltz are like top 2 right now.
I can help you with that. I mean, I teach basic salsa and basic waltz, but I'm nowhere near advanced.
Oh
but
my God. Yes,
next
please.
time. Yeah. But it's nowhere near. I can't teach you how to flip in the air.
No. I just want to get started. And then when things are better, I want to go to a professional dance studio. And then, because when I see those performances on YouTube, like I follow World of Dance like crazy.
Yeah.
I see them, I'm like, oh my God, when am I going to get like them so that I can be there, perform in front of probably Jennifer Lopez or something.
You know, you should actually apply to go for World of Dance. I'm not sure what the process is, but I think you guys have a pretty good shot if you actually do go and represent.
I really want to hit, but I think my team needs a lot of training before we are even actually up there. Because I've seen some of the dancers there, their physique, their posture is just amazing. We need a lot of training to get there.
But I think we need a lot more things like that in Australia, like a lot more platforms like that. So that'll be something to look forward to. Hopefully it'll happen after quarantine finishes. Yeah.
Fingers crossed for that.
Yeah. But thank you so much, Chris. That's actually all the time we have. And thank you so much to the family for joining us as well. But for everyone that's listening, make sure you follow Chris's writing and also dancing and get in touch. All her details will be below. Don't miss out on her work because it is brilliant. But thank you so much. I will see you after quarantine. We'll do some salsa.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone who's taken the time to watch me. Thank you.
Bye.
And namaste.